Okay, let's get started with our second half. So, degree of turbulence. Here we were looking again at how turbulent our market environment is if we have a lot of shifts that impact on our product, where it may not be needed anymore. And with Sony, in the books, they classified that as medium. We would probably nowadays say retrospectively, looking back from the time when they had to do the prediction, it was high, and they didn't really evaluate it very well. But hey, yeah, this is how it can go. Then the next step 3 would be our classical PESTEL environment, yeah, standing for political, economic, sociological, technological, environmental, and legal. Yeah, and it has been described by Lynch. Who invented PESTEL? Where is it coming from? Does anybody know? Has anybody ever looked it up? Yeah? Yeah? It's a consultancy tool. Yeah? They were every time asked by basic management consultancy, always asked, we need the indicators, so they wrote it down. This is how PESTEL came together. Yeah, and it started actually off by PEST. This is how it started. So environmental and legal was something that was neglected initially. So it started with political, economic, social, and technical, but now it has adapted to this. Yeah, and key points, it's not a formula, just useful checklist, and it depends as well to what degree you are doing this. Yeah, so some of you may have used this already a few times. Yeah, political can be internal as well as an external. Normally this is outside looking, yeah, into the environment, but there's a lot of synergy with it. Yeah. What is the overlap that we often use at the strategic level to actually see where we are? How can you combine it? What is another tool similar with acronyms for? SWOT. Yeah, SWOT. Yeah, exactly. SWOT and PESTEL can be actually integrated. There you look at your strengths and your weaknesses. This is inward looking, yeah. And then you look at the opportunities and threats with PESTEL. And what are the opportunities in terms of political, economically, sociologically, technologically, and so forth. Yeah. So that is often how it's combined. In this case, or as well in the book, it's not combined. So what are the PESTEL issues? Well, for Sony, there were uprising alternatives. Yeah? Here, the music business. This is before iTunes, if you want. And there were as well other alternatives that really impacted. So politics was largely irrelevant because Sony is such a big company that they actually probably influence already quite heavily on politics. Companies like that do actually make a lot of what people think of them. Now they're very involved. Economics, yes, sales depend on beyond economics. So you want a climate where people are as well willing to buy maybe a new television or a new mobile. Yeah? The social aspect, possible changes in demographies and lifestyles, but different to predict. Can I just ask, maybe let's try a few products. Who do you think buys, yeah, let's start with obvious. Who do you think would buy a PlayStation? What age range? PlayStation?
Buy or use?
Buy. Yeah, you asked a good question. Pardon? 11 to 35. Or you have looked at what age you are actually allowed to buy PlayStation, yeah?
No, I don't know. I mean, usually it's kids who are 11 years old, they start.
Okay. Yeah,
you start then. I remember because my brother bought it.
Okay, very good. Yeah, here was a very good differentiation. Yeah, so the users of the PlayStation maybe actually maybe even all age ranges, but it's aimed at 11 to potentially 25. And that is already a generous guess. But the actual people that buy it are often parents. Yeah, so you have to find as well a way of mediating it to them. And I think the product that understood that best was the Wii. Which company is behind the Wii? Yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, they understood that quite rightly. They outmatched in the Christmas sale by ages. If you ask the children that were using it, the Wii was okay, but actually they wanted the new PlayStation 3. Yeah, so this, by the way, is second-hand, but second-hand knowledge. This is from a paper that debated that very heavily, but maybe something worthwhile checking. Just realizing they have like cryptics here. Something is moving on my screen. This is a bad sign. We had a virus before in a bigger company that showed similar symptoms. I hope that won't happen in my session now. But anyway, so sociology is not always like as always as it seems, and you bid as well fashions. Now, there are generations that buy into certain products. Who knows what a what was it called? This is now I forget my examples. This is very bad. There was a fashion of a, is it Atari? Anybody know what an Atari is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A few. Can I just ask what was a good thing about an Atari? Nothing. Oh, okay.
The first console where you could put carriages in at the top, and
Yeah.
you could have one machine that did lots of different games.
Yeah. And games was really the nostalgic thing. What was the famous one?
Space Invaders was the
Space Invaders, yeah. Pac-Man, exactly. Yeah. And there's actually nostalgia around it. Yeah. So if you go in art cafes, you pay a lot of money to play this for one level, and then it's gone. But so there's anyway. This is a fashion, yeah, that basically carries on. So there's a notion of that. Yeah. So the social is not always obvious. Yeah, technology clearly important to Sony because this is what they do. Yeah? Environmental, electronic recycling becoming important. Yeah, shall we go into this? Yeah, we just keep it at that level. There's actually a lot of hidden politics behind this. And then legal, no special issues really. They did have issues though. With agreeing which companies they would keep running, which manufacturing plants they would develop. Yeah? So especially if you're restrained on resources, then your projects and production plants compete, of course, for the incoming resources, yeah? Because it's, of course, recycled for further production. Yeah? So pastel country economics, technology, and environmental issues are important. Strategic implications need to build these issues into the Sony strategies. This is very important. We have to keep that on our map. Oh, I see. This is yeah, when I was saying there may be a virus, I didn't really think that it would go that much according to plan. Oh. You know, when I mentioned this, yeah, it's good how I can predict, isn't it? Yeah, we just see if it actually reboots. Yeah, so be with me. Sorry for that. Yeah, safe mode is probably. Okay, we give it a shot. A little bit advertisement. How do you think Windows is doing? Are they doing well in a market share? Are they threatened at the moment?
Yes, you are correct.
There were some. We have here a different opinion. So we have. What was your opinion?
I think they're doing really well.
Doing very well.
But I don't know exactly what their company is like what their profits are like.
Yeah. So in terms of market share, you think they're doing well? What about what do you think?
I see a lot of threats for Windows. Their big markets used to be in the desktop market,
Yeah.
PC market, desktop PC market, and laptop market. But with the current migration to tablets and other smaller handheld devices, Windows is gradually losing its market share, considering that most of these hardwares come with their own customized OS operating system, like Apple's iPad and all of these Android devices.
Yeah.
So Windows is gradually losing markets in that area. And if this trend continues, I don't know.
Yeah, indirectly with the new platforms that we are using for doing the things that we like to do, we have invited a lot of competition there. And a lot of companies have seen that as an opportunity as well. Google Chrome has exactly done that. They did their own, if you want, iPad version. I shouldn't say that officially on camera, but they have done that to actually promote their software as well that comes along and getting users basically used to their system too. To actually get in that market share. Uh-oh, a lot of policies being checked. Seem to have done something very wrong. My Google search was it probably, when I asked, okay, we are back. So wonderful. Let's see. Yeah, but can I just ask, who has used Pascal before? Have you done it? How useful did you find it? Was it a good indicator for yeah?
Yeah, I did. I used Pestle and SWOT analysis work together for Ryanair.
Okay.
It's quite good indicator.
So it was a good indicator, yeah?
But I think Pestle requires too much of information, and it could be quite messy sometimes.
I think it makes sense if you're doing a case study and if you have like the amount of relevant information.
Yeah, it's a question how far you want to take it. It can is it information an enabler to come up with a good strategy, or is it actually a disabler, where you feel like you're overwhelmed? Like, oh, there's no way of coming up with a good option in this messy environment. So the filtering is, of course, a key. Actually, ironically, we should talk about it a lot more. What are strategies for? Are they restricting us from doing the wrong thing? Yeah? Or are they enabling us to do the right thing? Yeah? This is a cryptic sentence, but it goes actually quite deep. Yeah? But let's think a little bit longer along the Sony example. And this is really what I was talking about earlier with the maturity level. Yeah, this is a theory behind it. Again, Porter came up with this. He idealized a curve, a life cycle, if you want. And he said that over time there is always the same development of the product in terms of sales on the market. And simply coming to the idea that you invent your product, you come up with a smart idea of service that you want to provide, and you bring it to the market, and nobody really knows you, so people are skeptical. But you have one favorable client, this is how it starts, and he tries it, and he's like, wow, this is amazing. Why didn't we have that before? And then he maybe tells others, or you have like marketing, you advertise, and then you have a market growth. And here, this is when everybody wants your service. But then markets do react. People understand the service, maybe you get competitors, so then you have a maturity level. And this may be not a maturity level of your company, but of the product or service. You may have adjusted the product or service, so then we have a new product or service. Does that make sense? So this curve model is not always that true. In a market theory, you should, as a venture capitalist, if you want, wait till you come to the declining peak. But this is heavily debated. I personally would advise to the contrary, because you're just riding really the product out till it's not sellable anymore. So when you have a decline in sales, there may be still demand, but a lot lower. That means you have already other products in your market segment, or people have your product. That could be either. So that is a cash user phase, and that is a cash generator phase. So this is basically why it's argued that way. But what is the danger with this? Wait a minute, let's explain that first because it is difficult to understand. What does it mean? Cash user phases, the first two, introduction and growth. Why do you think that is?
You haven't built enough in sales to recover your development costs.
Yeah, you are not yet in the, well, the idea normally is that you're still repaying your research and innovation and your production payment for this. Yeah? And when you come to the maturity top, that is normally when you are generating pure profit. Yeah? This is the idea behind it. Again, like this is very much simplified. Do you see a product where this is true? Ironically, this is, I can tell you a few hilarious predictions. In 1798, they asked very clever people to predict how big, it was New York already, wasn't it? 19, I may mix up the times, but I'm scared to look quickly on the internet. Anyway, 19, let's call it 1800, yeah, ish, plus minus 10 years, give or take. There was a committee called together by the governor of New York, which had just changed 50 years before from New Amsterdam to New York. Yeah, so they did this well branding. You know, Amsterdam was a cool name, but York was the thing to go by. Yeah? So it changed in New York, and they were asking how many people do you think will live in 50 years in New York? And we were at the stage of 100,000 people. What do you think the predictions were? I take wild guesses. Were we at the growth stage? Did they realize New York is somewhere here? Or were they here? Or what do you think they predicted? I take guesses, wild guesses. Think about it, yeah, so New York was considered a city where people wanted to move, to purchase, to do business, yeah. So it was if you want, a property call, yeah. Is the property market in New York rising, or have we, nobody wants to go to New York anymore, yeah. There are too many people. It's too busy, it's too hectic. Nobody wants to live in a hectic life, right?
I think New York, I think they would have considered New York to be at maturity stage then, because New York, the boom at New York didn't come until after the Second World War.
Yeah, you're spot on. It was a lot worse. I mean, even like very strong arguments that it's actually beyond the maturity point, that they could actually increase the house prices and the property prices, because no more people would move there. It would be now just a luxury product for a few people, at 100,000 people. And the core argument was actually the horse feces. Yeah? So they had problems with horse excrement. So that was a big problem around it. Yeah, anyway. But that was one. Another classical example around 1911 was a bicycle. It was replaced by the invention of the engine of the car, of the automobile. Yeah. Before the mobile was a bike. Yeah? And they said, like, what? Who would cycle nowadays? Yeah, this is just crazy. Bike is dead. We have now cars. Yeah, so this was the idea. And similar argument, they again predicted that nobody would buy that anymore. It was kind of true with the horse carriages. That did actually die. But again, there was still the niche market. Yeah? So for example, the Queen of England, for example, yeah, she still does buy horse carriages. Yeah? So it's a niche market. But not many survived. Ford actually came from that, for example, ironically. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Small insight to that model. So it's you have to. It's very difficult to see actually where you are. But as an indicator, to predict where you are with your model, it's a starting point, a good one. Yeah. Any questions to this? Because this will hunt out. Actually, if you read anything like The Economist or Financial Times or what other ones do we have? Wall Street Journal, not to make too much advertisement. But anyway, they always refer to that. When they talk about maturity or growth or decline, this is what they refer to. Yeah? Okay, where was that with the life cycle stage with Sony? Well, with the cameras, there was, of course, a certain implication. There's no simple answer for Sony. Different Sony products are at different stages in their life cycles. So this is when you break it down. This is often when it comes to the project or portfolio level, where you may be involved, yeah? Where you have to make actually the case and evaluate a lot closer where you go with your product or service. Yeah? So compare here. The comparison was with a product of the Walkman. It's a mature product, and the PS3 games machine, so PlayStation 3, still building. Yeah. Do we have a PlayStation 4? Okay. So soon. Huh? Soon we will have a PlayStation 4. I was kind of lucky here. Very good, thank you. And then what evidence suggests that Sony has too many products at mature stage, not enough innovation. Yeah, so at the moment they make a lot of money on the research and development, but they don't have enough products that are just coming to the market. They don't drive the innovation anymore. Was in the past they were. Yeah? So life cycle stage, too many mature products is an issue. Strategy implications need to nurture earlier Sony innovations, skills, and find innovative products. Yeah? It's easy said, isn't it? An analysis like this. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Step 5 would be the factors specific to the industry, key factors of success. Yeah, this is slightly ambiguous. Many industries or markets have factors that are essential to deliver profits in their market. The key factors for success, KFS. Having said so, I've watched very closely, based on what the school was in the past, the construction industry actually, and ironically this is where it was exactly wrong. Yeah, the leading company, or not one of the leading companies, the managing director took actually strategies on that he had, I don't want to say stole, but the concept came from aerospace. Yeah, he looked actually at the supply chain very differently. Which is actually the classical way of doing it in aerospace, because you have as well similar patterns. You have a lot of subcontractors, and you have a culture of handing on specialisms to people that can do it. Yeah, so that was a parallel, and he has done it very smartly and positioned a very big company very, very well on the current construction market. Yeah? Okay, but anyway, useful to identify KFS because they will help set agenda for strategy. If strategy fails to address these issues, it may fail completely. So it means as well that you actually may not come across as an authentic player in the industry. This is very dangerous thing. Useful also because there are many possible issues that might be considered by strategic management. KFS helps to select the key issues or key agendas, if you want. Yeah? What would be maybe such a factor? Let's think a little bit about it. Think maybe of the industry that you want to work in. Did you know, like, out of your mind, what is a KFS maybe? Or a big agenda or issue at the moment in that sector?
For instance, in oil and gas, there is a political bloc called OPEC. So there is an interplay between OPEC and non-OPEC members that determines prices. Prices determines demand in an inverse order. Like for instance, OPEC, the political play by OPEC has driven the US to want to stop imports of crude oil to zero. By 2015, the US will not be import any oil from anybody again. And that means the prices would fall because the demand is also going to fall. So that's just one of the factors. You have political factors in the oil industry.
So it's you are really looking at mediation actually, yeah, of the issues, yeah? And they play a political game there. Yeah? This is very clear in an industry which is very impacting. Yeah? Very interesting one. Yeah? Maybe another industry. Maybe automotive? Nobody? What have we been driving around in the past? What was our engine?
Physics.
I was a burning engine, yeah, and now we have an electrical engine. Yeah, this is a current issue or theme. We have a lot of joint ventures that go in that direction. Yeah, maybe marketing. What is marketing? Current issue? Fashion? No? Nobody? It's individualization. Yeah, making your own style. Not sure that always works, but it's certainly not for me. Yeah, but I tried. Yeah, okay, but there are more. Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting to look at that. There are reports on this, by the way. Yeah, so have a look around. This may be actually something that may not be on the radar of some small to medium-sized enterprises if they're not involved in the political negotiation. Yeah. So what are the key factors of success for the consumer electronics industry? What are the strategy implications for Sony? Well, broke down the following. In the consumer electronics for leading companies, global branding is important if expensive. So Sony is working really on the branding side, so this was the pretty picture there. Yeah, you have a lot of advertising. Fujifilm just behind it, yeah, it shows you what you could probably buy there. The branding not just the company but also individual product groups, Bio for computers, Bravia for televisions. Is this true? You see, I should have really checked this. This is what's written in the case study, what I've taken out from there. But is that still true? High price items like TVs often need to be seen in store, distribution crucial, so need good relations with leading retailers. Is this true? Can I just ask, who has bought recently like a device like a tablet, laptop or computer? Okay, let's do the test. Did you buy it online or did you go somewhere and test it and play around with it? And online. Yeah. So you tested first in a store?
No.
Oh, okay, but you did. Okay, and what you?
Shop first, try it out, what you buy online.
Okay. So again, like first shop trying out and then online, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So there seems to be a tendency. Was it a lot cheaper?
No.
Okay, it was worthwhile, yeah? Okay. Very good. So interesting, we have a shift there as well, yeah? But they have a point, yeah? People want to actually have a look at it and see the object, yeah? And then purchase decision based on quality and performance, need reliable technology to attract new customers. And if you had Eric last year or this year potentially, then you will have heard that quality and performance is dead. Yeah, and the simple notion being we have replaced that with, do you want it or do you not want it? This is our new quality seal, which is an interesting one. Well, we still, I'm joking a little bit about this, because we still have our quality indicators, but quite frankly, I think a lot of the digital devices that we have nowadays, it's very difficult to tell how good the quality is. As long as it kind of does what we want it to do, and often teaches us as well what it can do additionally on top, then we are normally quite happy with it. So this is where this notion comes from. Yeah?
I think there's a cognitive side to quality. Quality could also be a matter of perception, not a matter of specification, depending on who is appraising it.
Yeah. And it goes possibly back, and this is why the branding is written there too. That there's a perception that the past product felt really good. It's a perception. It's not like an engineer analyzing the whole mobile, taking the iPhone apart. That would be probably the nightmare of a few companies. But instead, like using it for its face value, if you want. And then, of course, we have the last one: premium prices, profits from new technology before competition, leading edge and speed to market. Those are always questions. Car manufacturing recently had again an interesting conference that I went to, and there was Porsche with VW, They're a cheery bunch at the moment. No, I shouldn't say it that way, but they have political issues with each other. But a Porsche is actually built in half a day, the whole car. Like from literally everything put together. And then they have I shouldn't tell that anybody, but the quality assurance of the Porsches. Then a factory driver jumps in the car and rides it aggressively over a sand course behind the production plant. And then they put the new shiny metal bits on top and say like, yeah, it's okay, or not, if it breaks down. Yeah? But anyway, so there may be as well a hint. And just to give you a comparison, VW, or as well the Skoda, or other products, it takes a whole car to be assembled 2 to 3 days. You do more in parallel, so you have many on the line. Does anybody know Nissan? They're actually pretty good here. Nissan, how long for a car to assemble?
2 cars within a minute. They produce 2 cars within a minute.
Yeah, but this is based on how many they push in. But how long does it take from the first parts on the car to the last?
The information is not, so I don't have information.
3.5 days, but it's pretty good, yeah? Because it's not a luxury car. Porsche is a luxury car, so you are. But it's interesting. How long for a Ferrari? Oh no, Aston Martin. Let's go with Aston Martin. Aston Martin, anybody? It's weeks. I know 2+ weeks. But they really build it in the garage for you. It's not properly manufactured in its initial sense. So there's a different notion to it. Okay, but anyway, key factors for success: branding, distribution, leading edge technology, speed to market. This is how this has been interpreted, and you will see probably parallels to other markets. Actually, let's play the game. Do you know an industry where branding is not so important?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oil and gas.
Oil and gas. Are you sure about this?
No, I think it's very important.
It's very important.
Offshore, upstream oil and gas.
Okay, upstream oil and gas. I like it. Yeah, okay. So where is oil and gas important with brands?
It's important.
Brands?
Did you go?
The consumers in the customers in upstream oil and gas are few.
Okay.
So you don't need branding. You need a relationship with them.
But I do like, when I watch Formula 1 and I see the red Ferrari with just Shell on it, I was like,
Downstream.
Shell, I need to go.
That's downstream oil and gas.
Okay, yeah, I know. No, but you have a fair point. Yeah, so there are some industries. What brand of house do you buy? Yeah, what? No, okay, not that big with brands. Actually, Toyota is very famous in Japan. Yeah, this is an interesting one maybe for houses. And then there are different. If you go at the higher end, you buy by architects, I guess. But okay, this is just a few. Okay. Wait a minute. Where are we? Step 6. Yeah. Okay, this is a 5 forces model. It's as well quite famous. So factors. Actually, do you want to share this with us? I'm just wondering, because it looked like deep. What is it about? Can we?
Yeah, he was explaining something to me. I told him that it was not entirely true that you didn't need branding in the offshore industry. He was trying to explain that to me, but I'm not totally convinced. So after the class, maybe.
Well, there is a branding, when it comes, for example, to exploration of oil fields. There are certain brands that countries or governments have more trust in, because I recommend it, especially for banks that actually gives the money to allow this. So they're often tasks like that. But that gets quite.
What I refer to was that deep, intensive brand campaign is not needed. What is needed is a good relationship with your clients and customers.
Yeah. So you are skeptical of the heavy marketing that you see in other industries in comparison. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with this. Yeah, but maybe it's worthwhile for further elaboration later on. Yeah? Okay, let's focus for a moment on the 5 force analysis. I'm already slightly behind with the time with the little virus exploration that we had there. Yeah, the 5-force model is really a key strategic element, and it's yeah, if you want, often the question, how much bargaining power does a company actually have against the 5 forces acting against it? Yeah, so this is industry competitions. Yeah, so for some that have a stronger brand, for example, or that just get more projects because they have positioned themselves in that area. Then customers, for example, the large, well, do you have enough to dictate buying terms? Then suppliers, perhaps supplying a unique ingredient or part. Then substitutes for companies' products, maybe cheaper. And then potential new entrants could enter the market with new technology and threaten the company's existence.
Are these borders by forces?
Pardon?
Are these
Yeah,
borders?
those are, yeah, again, yeah. Actually, I think I have that as well. Yeah. Yeah, so this is normally how it's presented, and then there are nice bubbles around it. Yeah, sometimes as well arrows to show the interrelations. You can draw that as you want, and it comes again from Porter if you want. Potential entrance with Sony, high, medium, or low threat to new entrants based on barriers to entry. So in some markets it's very political. Yeah, you have to have like first a certificate to perform in that area. It's standardized. You have to go through harmonization. So those are normally barriers. Yeah? Then you have the customers. Customers have high, medium, or low bargaining power based on size or order. If you have like me, personal cyclist, we were back at my cycling business. Yeah, the customers can probably demand whatever they want. They want a cheap bike, I build a cheap bike. I don't mind. So I want a fancy bike, like nice frame and everything, good brakes, then I build that for them. Yeah. So I would, because I have a small business and I look for my niche market, I would listen to the customer carefully, for example. Then industry competitors, high, medium, or low threat based on competitors' resources and plans. So can they undercut my production? Do they have somebody that makes a frame for them for half the price? Yeah? And it's the same frame. Now then you have a very much industry threat. Yeah? And then you have the substitutes, high, medium, or low threat based on ease or cost of alternative. So this is really where you can replace easily a production line, for example. So in the, where was it, the Google Chrome, what is it actually called? I should have really looked that up. Is it called Nexus Book or Samsung Book?
There is a Nexus book which uses, I'm not sure if it's disabled from this book.
Yeah. But the new Google Book, yeah, the new Google Book had exactly that problem. And they had one time where they basically had a ship with the software together. And there was only that one subsidy that could actually do this part. And this is why the whole production actually slowed down. And they expanded at the same time when the large demand came, but it was too late. That is why you have the 10 days waiting. Yeah. Then of course the suppliers have high, medium, or low bargaining power, depending on what they supply. Patented quality is often here an issue, but again it depends on the industry. Again, oil we have as well tried to patent. We haven't patented that much. We have more standardized like certain things, and that has remained. That is just a few examples. So again, very powerful model, and applied to our Sony case. Let's have a look. Competitor threat high because competition is fierce in consumer electronic markets. It's a cutthroat culture nearly. Yeah? So if you can bring a product out a week before the other one brings the product out and make a big hype out of it, this is how you can really cut like the sales. And then customer bargaining power, medium high. If we define customers as retail shop chains, Sony needs distribution but has a good brand name. Then substitutes could be high with new technology such as Apple's iPod overtaking Sony's Walkman and so forth. Yeah? And you have now even new ones. Yeah? So then supplier bargaining power low with Sony already making many of its own supplies and finished goods like TVs. This is you have that actually a lot with Japanese, South Korean, and German companies, that they actually don't have big supply chains. The automotive is maybe an exception in Germany, but they have everything in house. So it's very big companies and often, not so much fragmented, but this is not generally true, but the tendency is there. Yeah? No new entrants, no, because market already fragmented and actually quite refined. So it's very difficult to make something. But now with the new,
I'm kind of divided between competitive threat and new entrant. I'm trying to look at the boundaries of competition. Where exactly does the competition lie? Is it within the industry or outside the industry? For example, if you consider Sony cameras, their competitors may not necessarily be Fujitsu that produces camera. This could be Nokia that produces phones with camera, and that's another source of competition. Although may not be outside, may not be within the industry. It is could be outside the industry. So where exactly does new entrant lie? Is it
you would really do it as simple as look at the market. You would send somebody with a basket into the shop, the very traditional way, and ask, you want to do photos, what do you buy? And if they then go for the multifunctional device, look at my new Android mobile phone with camera and everything, then and it doesn't buy the camera, then you have a market segment being breached basically. This is really how they go about it. I hope that answers it.
Yeah.
It's it's a very interesting concept, by the way, which goes very deep back in history. The notion of competitiveness, as such, hasn't been formally politicized till 1890 by a guy called Carl Schmitt. He came up that we need an enemy picture in the market to sustainably develop it further, hence a competitor. So by competing and trying to make something better, this is basically the game that you employ for improvement. We know it from other industry where we have monopolies, where nothing has changed. Standardization is an institutionalization as a comparison. You could as well institutionalize it, and then you don't have competition actually. That is a product, and you're happy with it. Now this goes slightly deep, so if you're fascinated in this, come speak to me or Google Carl Schmitt, it will come up. He has been criticized heavily, so be warned with that. But interesting stuff that he came up with. Okay, so here's the 4 links analysis. It's really a factor specific to a corporation, and here we are looking at government links and networks. How are you positioned? Do you have marketing power? Do you actually influence what the current standards are? Then you have the organization at the heart, and then you have, of course, the complementers. So what is a complementer?
Somebody adds value to your product.
Yeah, exactly. So what such product, what would that be?
Intel produces the hardware, Microsoft adds the software.
Yeah, exactly.
Complementary.
Yeah, very good example. So for example, hardware, software, that basically harmonize. They come actually as a package, and you can trade together in a harmonized world. And this is a very strong thing if you can build this link. Then you have on the other side the informal cooperative links and networks. What is that? What's the difference between government links and networks? Informal cooperative links and networks. Are we just suggesting here a monopoly? This is in reality you meet like every 4 weeks in the I don't know, where would we meet? I suppose in the, what sports do you fancy? Tennis or art? Every 4 weeks we meet in the Baltic and then make everything up, because we have an informal network, and all the cyclists, we are still with my cycle business, we all meet there and then we decide like, how many bikes are you doing? Oh, I do only 50. I have expensive bikes, so I've bought like material for a very high price. So this is not what it is. I'm just joking here. This would be collusion. Yeah, this would not be considered there. It exists, yeah, sometimes, but it's certainly not desirable. From a competitor's point. So what is the difference? Government links and networks versus informal cooperative links. And there's another one, formal cooperative links.
I think informal cooperative links would be to build up relationships amongst the employees, like amongst like the employees of an organization. But whereas government links and networks could be utilized, I mean, in order to, like, if there is some criteria that needs to be fulfilled, or there's some if there are some formalities that need to be kept into consideration while launching your, like, while you come up with a product and when you're going to launch it, there's some criteria, government criteria which you need to meet. So that would probably help you with that.
You think in the right direction. I have of course split it up. Here it goes a little bit into the clustering element. Yeah? So let's start with the government links and networks. Government contracts are crucial to some companies, and informal networks are important to influence government, tax legislation, R&D support, gain government support grants, etc. Yeah, so this is as well large legislations. Not all companies look at that. Ironically, in the UK we are very good even at small size. I have some small to medium-sized enterprises. If you're interested in this, I can strongly recommend it. It's chapter number 12. Yeah, it goes under my name. I discuss the skills development policy in the UK. And actually small to medium-sized enterprises are very, very successful in influencing policy at the top level. And they're very good in attracting large funding amounts to the Northeast. Yeah? So it can be even so crucial that they actually have a competitive advantage through this. And then you can, of course, invest it in R&D, train up your staff, or think about new technology and integration. Yeah? For example, Sony has a strong support from the Japanese government. There are other famous countries like probably France and Italy that are renowned for having close tie with cooperations. UK is in the medium to a high level as well involved with their companies. Then there are some countries that are very averse to this. This is actually difficult to point out at the moment which companies that are. There are. In the past it was actually Switzerland, and this is ambiguous because they are now heavily involved. There were a few countries that basically went against that for fair competition, but if it made it fair, I'm not really sure. Yeah? So on the informal cooperative links and networks, we have alliances, mutual industry support, informal talks, but price agreements illegal. Yeah? So this is important to notice. But you could see that there's probably a tendency or a danger of arriving at something like that if they are too close. Then formal cooperative links, joint ventures, and other forms of contractual cooperation. So it focused really around the legal side here, these networks. What is a brilliant joint venture that we have here in the Northeast recently? Does anybody know? Well, we have many fabulous joint ventures actually, but the most recent one is the Skills Academy in near Washington, near Nissan. They built an electric engine. Will we soon together? Who's that with? I give it as homework. It's exciting. Yeah, you can actually go there. They have a museum too, and they have advertised what principles they are using. Because at the moment there are other guys, and I cannot give it away. I'll explain more. Yeah, there's a parallel story in Germany and a parallel story in I think in America as well. And they try to do the same. Yeah, GE sits together with Ford. They try to do it in a joint venture. In Germany, it's Bosch and Mercedes. Yeah, but actually, could be Audi too. I'm not sure about this one. And then here we have the same, and it's really exciting. Yeah, so it's a very impressive joint venture, and yeah, of course we are often after shared economic benefits from all the above areas. This is often how we do this. Yeah? So and this is often the initial analysis as well. They as well, in a way, if you do this successful, they do as well the advertisement for you. Yeah, the business-to-business advertisement is often very powerful, especially in denser like in the Northeast, for example. I've seen more often business coming up because there's a business partner that was thinking of collaborating with your business, but didn't really work out, and then he has a mate and he's looking exactly for you, and she's like, you know what, I spoke with this guy at the breakfast club from the Chamber of Commerce, and you should give him a call, and he has a business card. This is often how the initial venture are actually set up here in the Northeast. Yeah? And it's a particular type of economy. Yeah? There's a link to this. So complementers for our analysis, companies who product add to the more products. We had that already, didn't we? So for example, the Sony Vaio computers, the base company benefits from having the widely accepted Microsoft Windows software, but we had that example already, yeah, so we didn't even need that slide. Microsoft complements Sony, then Coca-Cola complements McDonald's restaurants. Yeah. I will actually prove the opposite to you as well, that competitors can complement each other too. Yeah, who's the competitor from Coca-Cola? Pepsi. Yeah, this is a perceived advertisement war. Who's the competitor from PepsiCo? Coca-Cola. Yeah, this was an obvious answer, but the right answer is Nestle. Yeah, so it's slightly cryptic, but sorry. So the answer for Coca-Cola is Pepsi-Cola. Yeah? But PepsiCo is actually a conglomerate. And their competitor is Nestle. Yeah? So this was basically how it worked. But we have a look at it next week, yeah? And we look at it with a stakeholder emphasis. This will be intriguing. Yeah? And, but there's a lot of interesting points, especially when it comes to merger and acquisitions. If you go together into markets, then drinking a beverage drink can be already the new product in the country. Yeah? That may be not necessary to be Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Yeah? So economic benefits from powerful complementary links between well-respected products or brands is always something that is really pushing, hence Google and Samsung and so forth. Yeah? There we can see it live. And before we go one step further, let us look. Oh, okay, we are running out of time. I want to, and I went backwards, didn't I? No, I didn't. Okay. Less examples, yeah. I've broken it down as well. So what are the links? Have a look through. I uploaded, but I wanted to have one more. It's actually a dear one. I say customer analysis. Is that the one? This is the. Okay, so you have the factor specific to immediate competitors. Yeah, this is basically where you look at past records, how you have sold, and you do a straightforward analysis. So this has been done against Apple, Panasonic, and so forth. But here is an important one, and this is a very important one because this is what our case study today is based on. Yeah, we want to look at customer analysis, and here we are looking at demand, segmentation, and positioning. Yeah, and this is slightly cryptic. Well, what is positioning? What does it mean? Let's start at the beginning, maybe. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we were.
Strategy, how you want to position your product or brand.
Yeah, exactly. Where are you actually aiming at? Yeah. And then what would be such positioning? Can you give me an example?
For example, you want to maybe become the market leader in the first coming 2 years, or you want to become the best quality brand.
Yeah. I like get your ambition for my cycling business. You were still thinking of my cycling business, weren't you? How can I be the one that sells everybody my bike? Yeah? The alternatives are that you look actually at certain customer segments and so forth. Yeah? But you see already, I go here backwards in the term. Segmentation is you look actually at the market in like refinement. Yeah? You look, for example, at demography, customer behavior, and so forth. And then the first one being the demand. So following aspects to explore customer demand, as I said, market segmentation, market positioning. With this, you arrive directly at pricing, quality, and servicing. Yeah? And of course, that of presence strategies within the market element. Yeah? So key point, competitive analysis is important in strategy, but ultimately it is the customers who have the buying decision. And this is very important to recognize. It's actually, it will become very clear in our analysis that we have in a second. We have a little bit of a look at the fashion and marketing world. I really look forward to the case study. Any questions at that point? There are more examples to this, so don't panic. This was really just an overview, if you want, of the steps to the environmental analysis. Those are the tools. And we will now really work through it and see what they actually give us, when they are useful to us, and what it actually means to us as a project manager. How does it impact to us? That is what we try to find out. Any questions? Okay, I have spotted, I switch first the video off.